Welcome to Living Your Path. I am Cecile Ferry, a coach and astrologer. I'm here to guide you on how to live and work in alignment with your true self so you can find fulfillment and serenity. Hello my beautiful people, and welcome to your cosmic catch-up update for week commencing the 15th of December. Last week for many of us when it comes to work, we can do this. Oh, and just before I start, a quick note, I couldn't record the Coaching Corner episode last week, which was funnily about how to get out of overwhelmed, and because my daughter got sick and I got actually into massive overwhelm myself and I just didn't have the capacity to do it. But I will record it later this week. And so today we're talking astrology for this week, and it is a big week, especially towards the end of it, but the energy is rising, the energy is building and accelerating. And today I'm basically trying to explain to you how this is the beginning of a new phase that will take quite some time and really unfold comes late February next year, and then throughout 2026 and 2027 will be really the heyday of it. Okay, so if you like this year has been what feels really long and quite intense and so many changes, and we are not done. We're still shedding and the world looks quite atrocious if you look at the news, and that will continue for quite some time, a couple more months really. So we're still in the thick of it, but there is the beginning of the light at the end of the tunnel happening at the end of this week. And I'll talk more about all those changes, and I'll do a specific episode on the astrology of 2026, probably in late December, early January. Also, if you want to know what this means for you, I have 3 tailored offers for you, which are in the show notes of this episode for the astrology of 2026. Specific transit readings, so you know what to expect for you. So they're not on my website yet. I'm going to get to it, but they are in the show notes, so you can click on those links to find out more. Okay, so what is going on this week? Well, we are in the last final week of Sagittarius season. We have a lot of Sagittarius energy because Mercury, Venus, and the Sun are in the sign. And so that means that we are seeing expansion, optimism, and a sense of freedom, looking for purpose as well and meaning in our communications, in our thinking, in our relationships and finances, that's Venus, and in our life in general. So I hope you've been feeling in the last couple of weeks this kind of fire moving forward energy from Sagittarius. And so as of today, pretty much around now when I'm recording, Mars, that was in Sagittarius, is moving across to Capricorn. So what Mars is going to do in Capricorn is sort of ground a lot of all the visions and the thinking and the expansion that's been happening and start turning that into concrete, tangible, pragmatic progress. So Mars will bring the energy of endurance, of perseverance, that's very Capricorn, of self-determination. It's going to be like, okay, I'm doing this, and kind of buckling down and doing it, and also looking at the longer term. Capricorn is not about fast right now, instant gratification. It's what are we building for the future and for the long term. So might be a good time for you to start thinking. I know it's a busy time of the year, but you may get some insights about more long-term plans, especially if you have placements in Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, or Libra. Okay, so that's the change now today. And then the main event I want to talk about is the new moon happening at the end of this week. So it is the last moon for the year because the full moon after will be in January. It is a really nice one to kind of finish off. I think it's nice to finish on a new moon because it's more optimistic, I find. And in the sign of Sagittarius, it is definitely optimistic. So it is happening in New York on Friday at 8:43 p.m. in London at 1:43 a.m. on the Saturday, and in Australia, Saturday at 12:43 p.m. So if you have planets in the late degrees of Sagittarius, Gemini, Pisces, and Virgo, you're more likely to feel the energy. But let me just start by saying this we're going to feel, I think, collectively, because it's at 28 degrees Sagittarius, and it's pretty much on top of what's called the galactic center. So no biggie, just the center of the universe. There is a black hole that is at the center of the Milky Way, and it is at 27 degrees Sagittarius. So that has significance. This new moon is potent. And a lot of astrologers are talking around the same time about us connecting with other galaxies, with our understanding of the universe, and us rising in our next level of consciousness. So I'm not going to talk to you about all of that. There is a comet called 3i Atlas that is coming very close to the Earth on the 19th. So just before this new moon. If you're interested in that, you can go and Google it. But just to say, there's a lot happening astrologically. It's a significant, potent time. Now, what this is going to mean for you, it's going to be a new beginning and the opportunity to plant new seeds in the area of your life where Sagittarius is. So look in your chart where the 28 degrees falls. It could be in your house of family. It could be in your relationships. It could be in your career. So the start of something new. And to be honest, for me, I feel like this is the new year. That's how I'm going to treat this new moon. I know it's happening in our normal calendars on the 1st of January, but the energy of this new moon is exactly the one of New Year, because it's about suddenly looking ahead, being optimistic, forming new plans, seeing our life from the bigger picture. Like, we don't get bogged down in New Year's thinking about the small little detail and to-do list that we have. We just start to dream big, right? And to have a bit of vision, and we feel excited, and we feel like there are possibilities. And I want you to channel all of that on the new moon at the end of this week. So have a little party if you can. I know you might be more like head down, stressed, busy, but that is missing out the opportunity for this cosmic reset, really. It is a really good time to plan some new travel, some new adventure, to kind of just go with the flow and do something spontaneous and be like, oh, well, let's go and do this. It's a great time to explore doing something meaningful, maybe with your partner or with your family, with the people that matter to you, or to explore new paths, new possibilities. Just to put a bit of context, this all feels great and positive, and it is. There will be a square with this new moon with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. It's a big, tight square. So that will kind of put the brake a bit on that, as in you're going to feel all this positive excitement, but also you might feel like really there is a gap between all of that and the current reality. And you might feel like limitations, insecurities and doubts, and potentially disillusions around things. So the picture is not like, yeah, green light, let's go, let's move forward. You will still feel a little bit like one foot into the new, one foot into the old, and there may be boundary issues. So maybe something to navigate and sit with during the weekend, like late this week. It's not going to feel like massively clear and, like new intention and I can move forward. No, you're going to feel the sense of moving ahead and being excited, but there is still some stuff that's holding us back and that's asking for us to address. And as much as it's a new moon, but it's the last one for the year, so really important to use this window to let go of some of the stuff that we're still hanging on to, some old addictions, some behaviors that we know are not serving us and they don't align with that new direction that we want to move into in 2026. There is also a positive aspect to Chiron, the planet of healing. So this may be also a great opportunity, if we haven't done so before, to finish healing our wounds around our sense of self, because we are not bringing that into 2026. So we have supportive energy for that. And the new moon, which is the sun and moon together, will be framed, if you like, on one side with Venus and the other side of Mars, and it's sitting right in the midpoint. So I think symbolically that means probably relationship will also be a theme under this new moon. And this is a time where we will be able to really balance feminine and masculine energy, and maybe set also some intentions when it comes to our relationships going forward. So that's what's in store for the end of the week. And then at the end of the weekend, so it will be Sunday in Europe and in the US, and it will be in the early hours of Monday at 2 a.m., the sun will move into Capricorn. So that means it's the Capricorn Solstice, a really important reset point in the year. So if you are in the northern hemisphere, it's the shortest day and longest night, and the opposite in the southern hemisphere. It is really the beginning of the next 3 months astrologically until the Aries equinox. And there is a lot happening on that side, so towards the end of that window. So see this as a new gate. We are entering a new phase astrologically, personally and collectively. There will be more endings, but also I think there is plenty to start getting excited about. And I'll cover that more about next year. But we are going to start entering a new level of consciousness. It's a great time for manifestation. So I would also recommend, if you can spare some time on Sunday or on the early hours of Monday, to sit down and reflect on what you've learned, what you've accomplished, what you've shared in the last 6 months, and really sort of clear the plate for that to make room for what's coming ahead. It may also be a great time to look into a horoscope for next year, to definitely set intentions. So I talk about this under the new moon, but set them for the whole year, because really it's happening so close to the new moon. This is the window over at least the next 3 months. So what do you really want to start putting in place and manifest comes, the end of March next year. So good time to write down some plans, some goals, even if they're not fully firmed, and to really reflect on everything that you've shared, especially in the northern hemisphere. Then you're going to start coming back out into the light. So a good time to review all the journey to here. And for people in the southern hemisphere, it's really the peak of our summer and light. And it's about capturing all that energy and thinking how I'm going to turn that into achievement over the next few months. So that is all I had for this week. See, plenty to go. I will talk about Capricorn season next week because it really kicks off on Monday. But for now, go through the week and really try to channel this Sagittarius expansive, positive, optimistic energy. Try to deal with those frictions you might feel with the square with Neptune and Saturn on the weekend. And think about that new reset and that new chapter, and get excited because it's been a tough year. There is more to come, but in a positive way. More on that later. But I feel like, we are getting there after so much effort and some very rough energies this year. We're going to start moving out of that phase, and that starts at the end of this week. So that's very exciting. So take care, everyone. Good luck wrapping up work, parties, gift shoppings, whatever is going on in your world right now, and enjoy the new moon. I will talk to you next week. Bye, everyone.